I mean, what is the purpose of lying if we don't trust you? I mean, not much people realized that our undersea cables, nearly 100% of transoceanic data traffic, these lines are laid on the bottom and usually carries the world's internet, phone calls, even TV transmissions between continents. If 100% of internet data is transmitted to underwater cables, that only means that communication satellites are totally unnecessary. I mean, there's no satellites floating out space. It is a scam, since our ocean is our real space. This photo right here was installed year 1410, a 600-year-old clock. Remarkable fusion of timekeeping, even celestial wisdom that stood the test of time. Does it look heliocentric to you or geocentric? Geography is called geography with purpose, and not heliography. Horizon is called horizon with its purpose, it's horizontal. Airplane is called airplane with a purpose that we are living on a flat plane. I mean, you already let your partner lie to you. The governments lie to you. And NASA too? Come on. You shouldn't drink the whole ocean of lies, thinking that the taste salty will taste like a sugar. Imagination always creates reality, okay? Now imagine how this world is a flying ball, rumbling around, but Polaris and our constellations remain in the same position. I mean, how many billions of dollars invested in these so-called spaceships just to lie to us that they reach outer space? Unfortunately for NASA and modern astronomers, that their theory of spherical Earth does not usually agree with facts, because the formula of their curvature has always been found to be utterly fallacious. That's both on land and water. Have you remembered the Lake Baikal, the largest freshwater lake that's located in Russia, with 395 miles long and 49 miles wide, and always frozen for 5 months a year, and it is so thick that cars can pass through across its flat surface. And this is their calculation, quote-unquote curvature. It's funny to think that if Earth were a globe, there is supposed to be 19 miles of curvature present on the surface of the Lake Baikal. Instead, there is 19 miles of frozen curvature absent. Real physicists that can't be bought by governments always knew Earth is flat. Quantum physicists always work off of a flat Earth model. Satellites on space, huh? You know, aircraft would need to use what they called the dead reckoning. A dead reckoning is when an aircraft lose its communication on any ground tower, and they have to maintain their heading, speed, and altitude until they get reconnected with another land-based tower. If they could communicate through satellites in space, they don't need to use the dead reckoning, yeah? But they do, because the satellite on space is a scam. Our space is the ocean, period. Astronauts can't be an astronaut without scuba diving lessons. Like, have you ever think, why the hell is that? I mean, Earth is flat like your ass. Space is fake like your ex. And history is fiction like your relation. And politics only serve as a distraction like your side chick's motion. Our weather is controlled like your cum. Crises are manufactured like the face of your girlfriend. We are always poisoned by our air, water, and food, especially among other things. And I'm not gonna apologize of how I think. And yeah, Globers may laugh about it. At least I'm not the ones laughing that you're blind, or your blindness even blind you that your partner cheated on you and you still believe him. Love is blind, so salam alaikum.
Good morning, aloha from Florida. There are no satellites in outer space. If there were, aircraft would not need to use dead reckoning in 2024, but airplanes still use it. What is dead reckoning? It's when an aircraft loses communication with a ground-based tower, and they have to maintain their heading, their speed, their altitude until they get reconnected with another land-based tower. If satellites were real and they could communicate through satellites, they would not need to use dead reckoning, but they still do. If satellites were real, you would see them transit between the Earth and the moon all the time, except for a new moon when you can't see the moon at all. But we never see a satellite transit between the Earth and the moon unless it's on a balloon. So there is satellite technology on balloons about 20 or 25 miles away. There's probably some over your head right now, but you can't see them because of angular resolution. So if satellites were real, sat phones would not lose their signal, but all satellite phones lose their signal when in the deep wilderness. The only technology used for communications, at least for 99%, is underground cables and land-based towers. There are no satellites in outer space. Go check out Flat Earth Sun Moon Zodiac Clock app. Go check out Vika Drazev and his documentary, which I'm in, called The Mechanical Realm, about the Antikythera mechanism. Check out Flat Earth Banjo with Eddie Alankar, and check out The Fittest Flat Earther. Do some research reality for yourself, and come up with your own conclusions instead of believing what you were brainwashed to believe. Have a great day. God bless.
So we can all agree that water always seeks level, correct? It's always going from higher elevation to lower elevation. And this is one of the fundamental laws of the universe. Water always finds and seeks level and rest. Now, taking that into consideration, the Amazon River is over 4,000 miles long, making it, I believe, the second largest river in the entire world. And it is so long that it takes up 1/6 of the planet's circumference, because according to NASA, the circumference of Earth is just under 25,000 miles. So that means that this river should hypothetically be flowing in two opposite directions if the Earth is in fact a globe, due to the fact that the water is finding and seeking level. That's what allows it to flow downstream and reach sea level. No matter what container you put water in, no matter what you do to water, it will always find and seek level. This is just what water does. But according to NASA, the Amazon River is so big that the water should be flowing in two opposite directions in the middle to account for the planet's circumference. Does that make any sense to you guys? But of course the Earth is a globe, and of course this makes sense if the Earth is spinning.
If you still believe that the Earth is round, tell me why quantum physicists work off of a flat Earth model. If you've seen any of my videos, I always talk about the North Pole being like the center and that it's the magnetic center. This also proves it. Here's another model that shows you. They'll try and say, oh, it's an equator. No, they work off of flat Earth. It's literally the same as the ancient Hebrew concept of the universe. This is what we mean when we say flat Earth. We're not talking about that pancake in space nonsense that the Flat Earth society is pushing. They are fake opposition. This is what your average flat Earth person believes in. This is also what every physicist believes in. But keep your eyes closed. This is for entertainment purposes only, and these are strictly my opinions.
Every day I like to come to this spot and remind myself of what we're being told. This is all curving away from me at 8 inches per mile squared. That light over there is 93 million miles away. And all of this is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour at the equator, and we're going around the sun over there at 67,000 miles per hour. We observe no curve, we feel no spin or rotation, but we have to take their word for it when they say we are actually flying through the vacuum of space. So this theory isn't a theory, this is observable reality. We observe stationary, topographical, flat, plane, and real science proves this. It's only scientific theory that leads you to believe that all this is spinning and moving.
Have we been lied to all of our lives about the reality of the moon? Now, is the moon really a solid object in outer space? Or is it actually a holographic projection within our firmament? Now, I have strong evidence to support that theory right here. If you notice, he pans the camera, yet this line goes all the way up through the moon. And this was on one of the equinoxes. I'm not sure which one to be exact. But why don't we just zoom in and see this line, this lunar wave, this sine wave pulsing through a solid object in outer space. Now, I'm not sure if that makes any sense, guys, but rewatch the movie The Matrix. And why don't you put yourself in the position of Neo and understand that our entire reality is a complete illusion? Then maybe you will begin to understand what this realm really is, instead of wandering aimlessly through the physical universe and allowing the government to completely control all of your actions and even your thoughts. But of course, guys, I'm just making all of this up, and this was for satire purposes only.
I got an idea, And this is the idea. On a flat earth model, westward or eastward, you would always have to be turning. If you're going eastward, you'd be turning. And on this beautiful globe that we all believe in, west would always be straight. Due west. No having to turn right. Are you following? So why don't we re-update the final experiment to this experiment? You could do it from wherever you're taking off on the plane. If you're on a flat earth, this is what you would see. If we're on a globe, this is what we would see. Because going straight, not adjusting for right, would eventually get you to go south. So I need the entire science community, the globe believers, and the flat earth flurfs to support this idea, because this is the simplest way to prove what we're living on. If we're living on a flat earth, this is what we would see. If we're living on a globe, this is what we would see. Can we all agree that is what would happen? That would be the easiest way to prove our world. Now, what we don't want to do is choose a destination, because the autopilot is going to take great circle routes, avoiding longitude, coordinates. So, if you guys really want to do the experiment, just get up in the air, point your plane due west or due east, whatever which way direction you want to go, and fly straight. Do that for a couple thousand miles. I say with 2,000 miles you could start noticing if the compass is going to move or not. This should work. Or am I missing something? Because these great circle routes just never seem to follow latitude. But maybe not suspicious at all, but at least we can agree on that, right? We could all agree that would prove what we are living on. The best way to do it is to really go for it 4,000 or 5,000 miles, and let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. I'm tired of these flirts.
A lot of us believe, and the Bible seems to point to the stars in the sky being the angels looking down on the firmament. I'm going to show you a clip of somebody looking at a star through their telescope. A lot of the stars look different, but generally this is like what you see, or what I see, I guess, for the most part.
The focus. Still, same pattern.
Here's what a biblically accurate angel looks like. Like, what? I made a collage. So this is what you see through the telescope. This is if you tell AI to make a biblically accurate angel, and then here's somebody's artwork, or maybe that's AI too. I don't know. It's really hard to deny that they look the exact same. Everything that I look at in my telescope, every single thing in the sky looks like it's light underwater. And biblically, we're covered by a firmament that separates the waters below from the waters above. So my personal belief is that stars are angels, which would be like kind of like a form of energy. And that's why I showed you the video about the star in a jar, because I think words are energy the same way that other things can be energy. And when you collapse a vibe almost, I don't know if I'm explaining it right, but I hope you guys know what I'm trying to get across here. It turns into a star. Also, go down the very, very deep rabbit hole of the organization that tells us about science up there, and you might go loopy. So yeah, these are my personal beliefs. Don't want to force anything on anybody. We're all free to believe what we want, but I just wanted to show you guys.
Okay, I'm about to piss a lot of people off. Who brought the into the world? Who brought it? Also, who is the only man allowed to speak his mind? Except for the fact that he's pushing the space agenda and making you think that space exists. Just remember, no boat, and you zoom in, and you get a boat. You zoom in at 16 miles away, and you get a boat. At a 6-foot observer height, you should lose the boat at 3.1 miles away. You should never be able to see a boat at 16 miles away. Stop allowing them to get past that argument. Stop it. There is no curvature whatsoever. And remember, God says in Matthew 23, verse 9, and call no man your father. And what does the church, I can't remember what church it does. Oh, the church that does that, they call somebody Father. Come out of her, my people. Come out of her, Mystery Babylon, my people. Donald Trump is going to bring forth the 2030 agenda, meaning universal basic income, meaning standard development goals, the 17 of them, that include you not eating meat, that include the central bank digital currency. If you don't believe me, just look at the 2020 agenda and what we all went through. Remember, guys? Remember 2030 agenda, space agenda, controlled opposition, space agenda. He's allowed to speak on anything that makes sense because we all believe it. And we're like, man, this guy's awesome. Yeah, except for the fact that he's controlling the space agenda, which is the number one deception of God created the world. Verse 1, verse 1, verse 1. Guys, Genesis 1:1. It's the first verse. It is the first thing that God tells us that he did. He created the world. What are they trying to force down your throat? They're trying to force it down your throat like this. This guy. I'm going to leave you with this. No Jesus and no peace. Again, no Jesus and no peace. If you call upon the name of Jesus Christ and believe in him, you shall be saved. Cheers, my friends.
It came in the mail and y'all are opening it with me. Ooh. Smell it. Woo! Here we go.
The flat Earth map dates back over 1,000 years. This map is credited to being created by a Persian astronomer. His name was Al-Biruni and he lived between 973 AD to 1048 AD. It's the official map of the United Nations and also the United States Geological Survey. It used to be present in many places before the creation of NASA and the Antarctic Treaty in 1959. Here you see it with Admiral Byrd. This map has been restored by Dmitry from Russia with suggestions of mine, Eddie Alenkar. Known by my YouTube channel Flat Earth Banjo, I asked Dmitry to include the Bermuda Triangle and Point Nemo, a place deep in the Pacific where NASA buries rockets. Then Robert Tozzi, a professional mapmaker, came along and enhanced the map even more. There are many people now selling this map online, but if you could order it from my online store, I would greatly appreciate it. Visit my online store now and order one of the items. I humbly thank you.